That's great. So she was saying she takes...
The Dot Fit vitamin D, 4 of them a day. And my last blood work in October, I didn't have any vitamin D.
First time that your blood work hasn't had vitamin D deficiency. And takes the active as well, plus 4 vitamin Ds. So vitamin D has many, many good... And you know what? Let me just skip right to that. Let's just go... No, that's good, because vitamin D is on the list. So let's go there. Okay. Vitamin D is really beneficial. Most people don't get enough vitamin D. We'll start there. Especially black and brown skin people. Typically, like high percentage vitamin D deficient in black and brown skin people. Even in sunny environments, their skin just doesn't absorb it like white people, even though we turn red in the sun for too long, right? But it's just what it is. It's just study after study after study has shown. But typically, we lack vitamin D because of natural food sources, lack of sun exposure, which leads to the formation of vitamin D. So, vitamin D and the lack of vitamin D can lead to other health issues, such as depression. A lot of times that can be linked to vitamin D. Fatigue, low energy, bone pain, and achiness, and not sleeping well. So then the benefits of having enough vitamin D includes better energy, better mood. I'm telling you, well, I started overloading, like not overdosing, but just like taking a lot of vitamin D, about 10,000 units a day. Each pill is 1,000 units. And I just pop those suckers, like plus the multivitamin. So I started doing that last winter, and my wife used to I don't remember, she called me like grumpy man winter or old man winter or something like that. Anyway, when I started taking that, it like shifted. And I didn't notice it, but she noticed it. So it wasn't me like all of a sudden, like, you know, the placebo effect, right? No, she was like, man, I can notice a big change in your mood since you've been taking the extra vitamin D. So getting back to your point and your question, the multivitamin does have added vitamin D in it, which is great, but you're not going to overdose on vitamin D until you get to like 30, 40,000 international units a day, okay? That's when it becomes like into toxic levels, yeah, especially here. So you don't have to worry so much about that. You're going to be able to take a lot of vitamin D, and anything that your body doesn't use, it'll just flush. And vitamin D is cheap. So use it. All DotFit supplements are created to work synergistically. So you're not going to get any like, oh, if I'm taking this particular supplement, then I cannot take this particular supplement. So DotFit was specifically designed to make sure that you can take all of them without it being a problem. I can't speak to other outside sources. So that's a good question, though. So anyway, that's why now in studies too, vitamin D has actually been linked to your body's natural ability to fight disease and weight loss, which I thought was interesting. I didn't actually know that until I came across in these studies. It was like, really? Weight loss? The natural immunity, fight disease, that makes sense to me. The weight loss, I was like, oh. So again, it's just one of those things. It's like, oh, it's one of those pieces that says, okay, if I want to do that, I'm going to do everything in my power. If I want to lose weight, I'm going to do everything in my power in order to make that happen. Now, there's other things that complement that really well. The other one is omega-3 fish oil, okay? Now, omega-3s really help with cardiovascular, brain, vision, and immune system health, just like vitamin D we just talked about. But it's also an anti-inflammatory, which is kind of cool. And the older you get, sometimes that's helpful. Now, a lot of inflammation can be tied to what kind of foods that you're eating. I'll just leave it at that because it's not a health food seminar. But a lot of inflammation can come through what we're taking in, whether it be seed oils or different types of highly processed foods. But anyway, omega-3 can really help with being an anti-inflammatory. So the DotFit omega-3 is certified, sustainable. It's fresh, wild-caught, wild pollock out of the Bering Sea. So that's just where it comes from. And unless, like my wife really likes high highly fatty fishes like sardines, mackerel. She really likes anchovies, like all of the things that nobody else likes, my wife really likes. In fact, we were eating yesterday. We went to Whole Foods for dinner because we were picking up my son from a function. And so we stopped into Whole Foods to grab some dinner. And so she gets this can. I didn't see it, or otherwise I might have not allowed it. It was some kind of canned fish. And so we're in the car outside of the skating rink waiting for my son. And she busts open this can, and it's like, oh my gosh, I roll down, it's 35 degrees. I roll down all the windows. Oh my word. So look, if you want to eat that, God bless you, all right? My wife loves that stuff. It's great for you. But unless you're eating that salmon, like 8 to 12 ounces a week, you're going to need an omega-3 fish supplement, one a day, to help keep all of those things functioning. Now, if you're in a caloric deficit and can fit those fish into your caloric goal for the day, it's going to give you some protein, yep, but it's also going to be high in fat, so it's going to be a little more calorie dense. So, which is great. We just want to make sure that you're getting those omega-3s in your diet one way or the other, okay? So unless you're getting a lot of that food, probably 2 to 3 times a week, probably going to need that omega-3 fish supplement. So, mackerel, sardines, herring would be one. Herring, salmon is one. So I know a lot of people like salmon, which is great if you want to do that. All right, Super Calcium Plus. This is going to be essential for proper calcium absorption and the formulation of strong bones and teeth. You put the calcium, the omega-3, and the vitamin D all together, this stuff's like superfood for your bones. I'm telling you, those three together are really powerful stuff for your bones and teeth, all right? Now, taken with the proper dosages of vitamin D, it's actually been shown that it will help reduce the risk of osteoporosis later in life, all right? But in addition to that importance of the calcium, here's another piece. Especially, I know that a lot of you have trainers and you're hitting the weights maybe really hard for the first time, or maybe for the first time in general, in addition to doing cardio. Calcium actually triggers muscle contraction. So when you're lifting, you're using calcium to trigger the contraction of your muscle, all right? And if you don't have a sufficient supply of calcium in your diet, which most people don't, especially if they're in a caloric deficit, because a glass of milk is 110 to 150 calories, depending on what kind of milk it is, and you probably want to be eating your calories, not drinking your calories, right? Because you want you know what I'm saying? You want some meat in there, right? So unless you're getting the needed calcium in your diet, you're going to need to supplement that, because if it's not there in your diet, it's going to pull it from your bones, the calcium it needs, right? So that's why the calcium supplement is so important. Now, it's also important to note that, for this one, gentlemen, you don't need as much calcium as ladies do, okay? So if you're on the calcium supplement, up to 1 a day for you, ladies up to 2 a day for you, okay? It can mess with prostate issues and that kind of thing with too much calcium, all right? And then antioxidants. The superior antioxidant was specifically designed to nourish the body beyond the multivitamin, which is great. We already know that that's a good start. And to support an active lifestyle, great energy, and healthy aging. Come on, somebody. That's what I'm talking about. The superior antioxidant contains ingredients like lycopene, coenzyme Q10. Now, all of this, too, is online. So if you don't catch all of this and you're like, if I'm talking faster than you can write, it's all available online. Anyway, all of these to support your energy levels and vitality. And again, the older I get, I want to have more vitality, right? Not less. That's what the world wants us to think, that we're going to run out of energy. Come on, man. Hey, how many have kids? How many have grandkids? You got stuff to do, right? Got grandkids to keep up with? All right. But also, these antioxidants trigger your body's natural ability to protect against free radicals, supporting healthy immune function, and optimizing your cellular health, right? Our body's producing cells all the time. And we already know that free radicals are caused by poor dietary habits, pollution, stress. All of these can like add up to aging quickly and not having good cell reproduction. Now here's the cool thing. I talked about earlier how sometimes things change and they have to update. That's part of like being a practitioner line and having like a pharmaceutical grade. It's like, hey, we learned something new, so we need to add something. So the most updated version of antioxidants, which if you've purchased any in the last 6 months, you have these, includes what's called Astra Real and mesozeaxanthin, which helps support improved skin appearance. I knew that you would, Arlene. I knew you'd like that. But also to protect eye tissue from damaging blue light, which, how many know we see a lot of blue light all the time? Some of you are taking notes on your blue light right there. But also UV rays and UV light. So anyway, just a couple like updates there, which are pretty cool. Those are what the trainers, your trainer probably said, these are the essential 5. We need to start with this. This is like the baseline stuff, okay? Look to your neighbor and say, you're essential. You're essential. That's right, you are essential. So that's where you need to start, okay? But there's more that even though it's not considered in the realm of the essential 5-pack, you're going to find different levels of them being essential. These are ones that, in fact, I take. So in addition to that, all right. The first is Joint Skin Collagen Plus, formerly known as not Joint Crack, Joint Flex. Joint Flex. All right. All right. Joint Skin Collagen Plus, formerly known as Joint Flex, is not just collagen. Okay? It's collagen that contains naturally occurring hydrolyzed collagen, chondroitin sulfate. You're like, what? We'll get to there. Good question. She said, what does that do? I'll get there in a second. And hyaluronic acid.
Oh, it's good for your skin too.
Yeah, come on. You know it's good for your skin, all right? So these ingredients can supply the building blocks in joints and support lubrication in the joints, come on, to maintain your healthy movement and joint function. Now, here you go. In the trials for this product, compared to the placebo group, the group significantly reduced joint discomfort as much as 40% at the end of the 8-week study by taking Joint Skin Collagen Plus. Now, collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. It's responsible for healthy, like joint cartilage, okay? Cartilage inside the joints. But it usually decreases with age, and then we can become compromised for injury, right? Hyaluronic acid. Is this the one you said? You're like, yeah, you know about this. Okay. It's present in all of your connective tissues and organs, including your skin and your joints. And its primary function is to hold water, keeping the joints lubricated and acting as a lubricant for those moving joints. So if you have problems with that, this is where you need to be, right here, okay? And then chondroitin sulfate is so our body produces that already, chondroitin sulfate, but it decreases as we age. We don't produce as much. So by supplementing that, research has demonstrated that by supplementing it, you can actually inhibit cartilage destruction or keep your cartilage from being destroyed by taking that, reduce inflammation, and reduce the rate of joint space narrowing. So even if it's not something that you're dealing with now, by being preventative, you can help eliminate or slow the rate of joint space narrowing, which then becomes like bone on bone and all of that. Arlene and then Christine.
Is this the one that we take 4 times a day or 2 to 4 times a
So you can take, for optimum, like the best results, you can take 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, right? Or if you want to space that out, you can take 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening for your dosage. Yeah?
For the optimal performance of these supplements, how much water intake do you need to take with it for it to do?
So you should always be drinking at least 80 ounces of water a day, probably. Unless you're really small. Probably around 80 to 100 ounces a day. That's going to help you feel full longer. So if you're in a caloric deficit right now, chug that water. Chug it. All right? That's really going to help. And it's going to help with the digestion, and you'll be up in the middle of the night. That's just how it is. Hey, if you have children or grandchildren, you're already up in the middle of the night. So, all right? All right. Advanced brain health. Advanced brain health. We don't talk about this one very much. I'm not going to cover a lot of it today, but this is just going to help support memory function, mental clarity, focus, and other cognitive functions in your brain, okay? So it uses ingredients like B12, acetyl L-carnitine, and again, we already talked about alpha-lipoic acid in the joint skin collagen. Anyway, all of those help support memory function. All right? So that's a really good one. I have a lot of clients that use that one, and just to help with improvement of memory, just kind of keeping yourself sharp, right? Keeping yourself sharp. Also, this can be, if you have loved ones that are getting a little bit older, and maybe you notice, nothing big, but like it's just like slipping a little bit, it's a great way to just introduce them to and get them taking something. The dosage depends on the age, but they're kind of small and slippery little things. They slide down. They're not.
No. They are slippery.
They're slippery. Okay.
What does it mean by, what do you guys mean by slippery and slimy? That's awful.
It's just oily.
So it goes by
Yeah. So with the age range, 45 to 55 is going to take 1 serving, which is 4. And then 45 to 55 is going to take 2 servings. And then 66 plus will take 3 servings of the advanced joint health, or the advanced brain health. Okay? Brain health, yep. Now all of this too, as far as dosages, is on the bottle, and your trainer can help you out with that. I don't want to get too caught up in the minutia, but I do have that available too. So, a couple more things when we're talking about just overall health. Digestive enzymes and probiotics. Now, digestive enzymes, so our body, again, our gastrointestinal system naturally secretes digestive enzymes to help break down food, right? That's what enzymes do. They break down food so that your body can absorb them. So, but again, with stress, chemicals, aging, and a bad diet, it's usually more than what our natural enzymes can handle, which leads to, we've all been there, like the bloating feeling, right? Gas, cramping, just like overall just feeling like trash. You know what I'm saying? Like we've all been there. But they're all signs of poor digestion. Right? So the enzymes, these digestive enzymes, are scientifically formulated to assist in breaking down and digesting food, okay? I don't even take the full, like you can take up to 3 a day. I take 2 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and I feel great, all right? But take up to 3 a day with each of your like main meals. Now, as far as probiotics go, this is really important because gut health is probably the, like as far as torso function, gut health is super important. And we kind of like, man, we sabotage this bad. Our Western diet sabotages gut health bad. So there's always going to be good and bad bacteria fighting for dominance inside of our gut. And stressors can affect your gut health, including what you eat, aging, even like really hard exercise. If you've ever been on an antibiotic, it's literally like stripping that out of your system. If you've been there, you need to be on probiotics all the time. I think everybody should be on a probiotic all the time anyway, all right? So if the bad bacteria starts to overtake the good bacteria, it really has a compromise on your immunity, even your body composition, and other health functions as well. So with the Ultra Probiotic, there's 8 strands that blend 35 billion microorganisms. All right, that's the number. 35 billion microorganisms. And each of them has been designed to survive your stomach acid. All right, so a lot of probiotics have to be refrigerated. These ones don't. They're already designed to withstand the stomach acid, okay? So being on the shelf is going to be just fine. They're shelf stable. Yep, Chris?
Like the digestive enzymes, like the weight loss, liver support, like that won't kill the microorganisms?
Nope. As your body stores extra fat, it's going to disperse fat throughout the body, including some of your organs. And there's one like in your torso, the liver is super powerful and impacts your body's metabolism. And so as far as that goes, like a fatty liver acts like kind of a clogged sink. We had a clogged sink at our house, and like the water would just kind of pile up and then slowly drain. And it's kind of the same thing happening if you have a fatty liver. It's not able to break down like fat and carbs as efficiently as it should. So with weight loss liver support, which is what we're talking about here, weight loss liver support, it uses natural ingredients to help improve your ability to burn fat more efficiently. It uses green tea extract, African mango, milk thistle, and choline. All right, those are the 4 like main ingredients that it uses. And what's that?
I didn't know it had milk thistle.
It does.
It's a separate pill for, I take the actual milk thistle. But should I stop that one if I do this one?
I don't know what you're taking, so I can't speak to that. Okay. So anyway, really powerful natural ingredients that targets the fat in your liver and also helps control your appetite a little bit too as well, okay? So weight loss liver support is a really powerful tool. Now there's also Carb Repel, and Carb Repel is a capsule that has a fiber blend. It includes like white kidney bean extract and pomegranate fruit extract that helps support weight loss and appetite control, okay? And with Carb Repel, it's a carb neutralizer. So it actually has been shown to decrease the amount of carb absorption when you're eating a carb-heavy meal by about 20%. So that's a pretty big difference. So your body flushes that. So if you're having a carb or 2 carb-heavy meals, you can take Carb Repel before those meals. Now, it doesn't mean get stupid with what you're eating. I'm just saying if you know you're going to have a carb-heavy meal, you can use Carb Repel to absorb about 20% fewer carbs than it would normally. All right? So
How soon should we take, like, the bottle says 30, but I've heard 20.
I think probably the bottle does say 30 minutes as far as the timing of when you should be taking it. If you're in the 20 to 30 minute window, you're going to be fine. Okay? Now the other one that is really weight loss specific is called Thermicell. Now Thermicell is a thermogenic, okay? So, which means it produces heat. That's like the whole idea. So it contains a complex of caffeine, green tea, and citrus extract, which helps increase the number of calories that you're going to burn. In fact, in these clinical trials, it showed an increase of 157 calories per day more than the placebo group in the daily intake of this. So you might ask yourself, what's 157 calories a day? So I'm going to take you back to about 6 months ago. I had a client who was like, hey, I'm recording everything except my daily popcorn. It's like, great. So let's talk about your daily popcorn. Because it's 150. So it's like really was only 150 calories, right? 150 calories. So I'm just saying, in the studies, they burned 157 calories more than the placebo group. If you take 157 calories, because we know that there's 3,500 calories in a pound, okay? There's 3,500 calories in a pound. So if you took 157 calories on average every single day and multiply that by 365 days, that comes out to 16.3 pounds of energy burned. So just think about that. At the end of a day, or at the end of a year, being 16 pounds lighter, more or less. Yeah, Ann?
Can you take it if you take high blood pressure medicine?
There's the catch. If it's a high blood pressure or hypertension, it's like kind of contraindicated for that because of anything like with hypertension, high blood pressure. Caffeine in general is kind of frowned on for if there's anxiety, hypertension, thyroid disease. So there are some contraindications there. So make sure that before you take it, you talk to your trainer about what, like if you're on any pharmaceuticals or anything like that, to make sure that we're not giving you something that could cause heart issues or anything like that. Good stuff. All right, we're going to keep rolling. How we doing? You guys doing all right? Okay, we got a few minutes left. Performance and recovery. Performance and recovery. We're going to start with creatine. Okay? Now, just in general, creatine aids your body's ability to create a chemical called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's your body's natural and greatest, like your cell's most basic form of energy. So if you're training intensely, it's not uncommon to run out of ATP before you run out of workout. Have you ever had to budget something and you run out of money before you run out of month? You know what I mean, right? It's the same kind of idea. You can run out of ATP, this natural form of energy, before you run out of your workout, and so then you don't have the ability to train as hard, but adding creatine gives you the ability to train harder and a little bit longer in your sessions. With the creatine that we have, we use CreaPure, which is the brand name for pure creatine monohydrate that's exported from Germany and is recognized by the Global Food Safety Initiative. It's the purest form of creatine available. So we have two creatines that we have that are going to be really helpful for your body's ability to create this ATP. Now again, I think everybody should be on creatine, just like I was saying with the probiotic. I think everybody should be on creatine. Like my children take creatine, my wife takes creatine. It's really important for your body's function. It's great for also, as you get older, we lose a little bit of muscle mass. That's just how it is. And this helps prevent age-related muscle mass as well. We have creatine monohydrate, which is strictly just that CreaPure, which I just mentioned, okay? But then there's also extreme creatine XXXL plus. All right, so let me talk to you about that. That is a non-stimulant, performance-based product. So, meaning there's no caffeine in it. All right? It has creatine monohydrate, it has beta-alanine, and it has L-glutamine. So those are the ingredients in the extreme creatine. Now, beta-alanine is is a non-essential amino acid, meaning that our body can produce it through the food and supplementation that we consume. But most amino acids that we know, or maybe you don't know, forms the building block of protein. And so beta-alanine is actually used to synthesize carnosine. Now I know I'm getting into a lot of things, so just bear with me here, okay? So carnosine is primarily found in these like fast twitch muscles and helps improve performance and workout intensity. And the higher your levels of carnosine, bodies have been shown to help fight against muscle fatigue, all right? So that's why the extreme creatine is so effective, because not only is it giving you the creatine, but it's also giving you the glutamine, which I'm going to talk about here in more detail in a minute as a separate supplement. It has that in it, but it also has the beta alanine, all right? The beta-alanine mixed in is going to make your face tingle a little bit. That's like, it kind of gives you a lift. What do you think, Alex? Is that safe? Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a stimulant, right? So there's no caffeine involved, but it still gives you the energy, lift, and boost. I don't know off the top of my head if there's niacin in that product. I don't know that there is. No. Alex says no.
I take the monohydrate. I take the bottle says take a scoop of that after training. Is that right? Or it's like when you first take it, you have to like load up. And
Load, yep.
4 scoops a day for 5 days.
Yep.
And so now I take the aminos too. So I do aminos before my workout, and then after I have another bottle that's just mixed with creatine and aminos that I take like all the way out of here.
It's good. Yep. Yep. You want to take, he was asking just about when to take creatine on the monohydrate. The creatine XX, the creatine extreme, you're going to want to take before and after, because you want to get the before because it's going to give you the energy, right? But the monohydrate is definitely going to be a post-workout after, you know, your initial loading phase or whatever, because you'll take it then. So that said, you can take the extreme creatine before and after, but that's a good segue into aminos, because he has his aminos for after his workout. Aminos are designed to be taken around your workout, okay? And it's going to help trigger muscle repair and support new muscle growth, all right? If you exercise regularly, your muscles are constantly or consistently being stressed and broken down, which can lead to a negative protein balance. And aminos are going to help create a positive protein balance, meaning your body can trigger muscle protein synthesis, all right? And the aminos are going to help with that. So you can take aminos before, during, but for sure after. So what I do for my aminos is I start with aminos and I drink about half before, I drink half during, and then I'll do another full dose after my workout with my creatine and my muscle defender as well, which I'll get to. Now, for other pre-workouts, we have NO7 Rage, which is a pre-workout supplement designed to promote blood flow, which increases the delivery of oxygen and other energy-building nutrients to your muscles, all right? And it also increases the removal of lactic acid, which is great. So that's going to help reduce soreness. But it has a blend of L-citrulline, creatine monohydrate in the NO7 Rage, beta-alanine, hydromax, caffeine, and taurine. What's that? NO7 Rage. NO, nitric oxide 7 Rage. Now, the L-citrulline is naturally, so that's an amino acid, all right? It's a naturally occurring alpha amino acid. And it's converted into L-arginine in the body, which leads to the production and the increase of nitric oxide. Now, increasing nitric oxide can help improve blood flow and acceleration and the nutrient delivery to the skeletal muscles. And I'm just going to can we have some real talk in this room for a second? Okay. Nitric oxide is, as we're talking about, really important for blood flow. If you are 35 or so, you produce about half of that as you did at age 20. Okay? Now, I'm 45, so I'm in that range. Blood flow, we already talked about whole wellness, right? I've been married for 22 years. There are a lot of things that are very important to me, all right, including sexual health, all right? Blood flow is vital for that part of our life, right? So nitric oxide is critical in not just pre-workout, but in all of your life's ventures, okay? So I'm just putting that out there, that this is a very useful product, but it has caffeine in it, so don't take it before bed, all right? There's other like drop downs as pre-workouts. Workout Extreme. It's not quite the same as NO7. It's a pre-workout energy stimulant in the form of tablets. It has caffeine and taurine. I don't have a lot of my clients on that because they're tired of taking another tablet. You know what I'm talking about? They're like, please, can I just get a powder? Yes. Chris, you know this. All right. And we talked about aminos. Now, Muscle Defender is basically just glutamine, and that's it. Just glutamine. Now, glutamine. Yep, L-glutamine, yep. So glutamine is the most produced essential amino acid in the body. However, it's critical to supplement, especially if you're in a caloric deficit and participating in intense exercise, which a lot of you fall into that category. But that's going to help maximize muscle recovery, but it's also good for your gut health and your brain health. Digestion, as I just alluded to, because glutamine is literally being used all over your body. Yeah?
Also helps with sugar cravings.
Sugar cravings?
Put your finger in it and wipe it on your gum and your tongue. It helps with
There you
sugar
go.
cravings.
She said dip it, put it on your gums
Dip
and
it
tongue.
And rub on your gums and your tongue. It'll stop sugar cravings.
There you go. Well, here's the other thing. What's that? This is Muscle Defender. Muscle Defender, yep. So, because vital organs and functions in your body are being stressed by exercise, so your muscles have glutamine in them, they're actually going to release their glutamine and send it to those vital parts of your body that need it. So if your muscles are sending their glutamine out, that means they don't have the glutamine that they need to recover. And so we need to make sure that we are supplementing that, because it's going to help with the breakdown of the muscle tissue as you're lifting weights, which will lead to a faster recovery in addition to the other benefits that I talked about. Chris? A lot of these things don't have high calories, but yes, glutamine doesn't have any.
Okay, so the ones that do, will that kick you out of your fasting because they have calories?
Let's see, if you're intermittent fasting, trying to think of which ones you would take before. All right, talk to me about that afterward, okay? Any other questions so far? Yes. With Muscle Defender, you're going to want to take that immediately after your workout. So like you would put yours in your creatine and amino post-workout drink, like right away. And then you will always drink it right before bed. When we sleep, that's when our body recovers the most, right? And it's going to really help with that recovery process. So always right before bed. I take mine every night, little glass. What's that? Muscle Defender. Right before bed and post-workout. Post-workout. Okay, good stuff. There's a lot more we could cover. We didn't even get to the proteins, but I know that we have to go because we told you guys an hour. But I feel like we got to a lot of really good stuff today that I hope that you find really valuable and helpful and informative, that will, like, again, they sure ask us to take a lot. But yeah, because we want you to be healthy, right? We want you to be literally striving towards not your summer body, but your 70-year-old body. And all of these are really critical in the, continued like healthy aging and wellness piece of it. The proteins are going to be really important because if you're in a caloric deficit, it's going to be hard to get that protein, right? And the quality of protein that we have is going to be far superior than, we already talked about the big bag, right, at Costco or whatever. It's going to be far superior. Make sure that you talk with your trainer about which of those proteins is going to be best for you as a meal replacement, whether it's the Lean MR, not Lean Mister, if you were wondering, Lean MR meal replacement, whether it's the Whey Smooth, the all-natural Whey Smooth, First String if you're trying to build muscle, pre-post, which can Pre-post is like probably the most versatile one because it can be meal replacement. It can be add a little bit more. You can use it for muscle gain. You can just be, it's super versatile. Best plant protein. All of those have their place. So make sure you talk to your trainer about which one is best for you and what your goals are. So any last questions before we go today? You guys were great and had a lot of questions during, so we didn't have to get that. Okay, great stuff. Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it.